Hey YouTube, it's me, Alex, and this is another Let's Try to Design with Me, part of a series that I've been doing for a while. If you've noticed, the background's changed, and that's because my office now has most of the dust collectors where they need to be, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So, alright, let's move this guy around. So, what I mean by dust collectors is I have things on shelves that sole purpose are to collect dust and look cool. Unfortunately, my webcam only goes this high, but I've got my 3D printed T-Rex up there, a little voodoo doll I got from Louisiana. This shelf still needs a little work. It's got some figurines and stuff, so this one needs some figuring out. And then I've got a shelf over there that looks super cool, and it's got a lot of cool stuff from my life around it. And then the rest of my office is nowhere near put together. I still got like boxes and things all over the floor. I do have this lovely whiteboard that I put up on the wall. Yeah, that says Thin Washy Photos, which is going to be something I hopefully get done today or tomorrow. And then I've got all my to-dos, video ideas, and things like that over there. So, let's put you back. Do I look good? Yeah, I look real good. Okay, so yeah, so that's my office. It's still coming along. There's some things I need to figure out. Like, I've got a bunch of cords coming out of the wall for the internet, and that shouldn't be happening. So I'll have to figure that out at some point. But it is today, and today is Wednesday. And as everyone knows, Wednesdays are worse than Mondays because I say so, and it just stinks. So anyway, so let's figure out. Today we are going to design. I'm looking over there because that's where my list of things to design is. Let's do a crayon. We have the Donut Weekly kit and the, what other weekly kits do we have going on? We've got donuts, we got that ice cream, we got dragonflies. I'm going to be doing a gummy bear. I'll give you a peek right now, actually, of the gummy bears. So, over here you can see I'm working on a gummy bear kit. So I got, individual gummies, little gumdrop gummies. This can go over the whole, it's going to be one sticker that goes over, a little spread. These are 4 of the patterns. I'm still going to probably make a gummy bear and a Swedish fish and a worm one. I'll probably throw in a couple more worms here of like blue and, clear or whatever. But so this is going to be a new set. So let's work on a crayon set to do kind of like an artistic vibe, being a kid kind of thing. So first thing we're going to do is open up our Illustrator, which we have, perfectly, and it has been a while, so I'll kind of run over things again. I like to edit in tracing. It just has all the things I really need, and if I bring a picture in, I can quickly trace, but otherwise I can minimize and open up things as I need them, and so, yeah, that's kind of why I really like this setting. It's not letting me change my shapes. Oh, boo-hoo. And we'll just hide that away. So, anyway, so now I've got my colors here. I like these to be on medium. Large are pretty cool when you have the space for it, so we'll leave it like that just so you guys can see what I'm doing if you're watching on a super tiny little screen. And let's get our crayon going. So, first thing we're going to need is, I like to start with the bottom of the shape. So, how big this is, this is the bottom of the crayon, depends on how tilted the crayon is towards you. So we're just going to give it a nice subtle color. Let's give it pink. Well, hit X. So what that's going to do is bring it over here. The inside fill, we don't want to give it a stroke, at least not yet. Using X will let you switch between these two. So stroke or fill color. So I'm just doing that as a shortcut. It's good to know them. Let's go ahead and use the rounded rectangle tool. Line up here, and go straight up. Oop, I had it. Okay, straight up. And so that bend is too much, so we're going to weaken that bend a little. And how we do that, using the up and down arrow keys once our shape is made. And I'm not really worried about the bottom. We want to look at the top. What looks like the good round corner of a crayon. We want to do something soft, so something like that looks good. Move that down a little. And now we highlight both. When you highlight two objects, this panel comes up at the top. and we're going to click on horizontal align center. And what that's going to do is plop these two right where they're exactly on top of each other. And if for some reason, my Counter-Strike notification, you somehow goof these up, it's super easy to make adjustments later. So that's what I'm going to do here, is just take this and drag it over. And same thing here, we'll take this edge and drag it over till it says it intersects. And then what we can do is just grab our square tool. Once it says it intersects with the path, bam. Do that over here, intersects with the path. We want to stop halfway down. Oop, didn't get it just right. And bam. And so if we back out, it looks like it's one shape. And we can come in later and tweak that. But for the most part, that looks pretty awesome. So now what we're going to do is, it looks a little short for a crayon, considering how wide it is. So we're going to make it a little taller. And I like that length, so now we're going to highlight everything, and over here is your Pathfinder tool. I use this tool all the time, and what it does is it merges shapes and demerges and deconstructs and reconstructs images, and it's super useful to use. We're going to use the Unite, so highlight all the things that you've got so far and unite them, and now that's going to make it one shape. So if you come in, Control H, you can see we've got points along the way here, but it's all one shape. You don't have those two little boxes in the round shape. It's all, again, one shape. So that's super cool. Then we're going to come in around the top, and I'm going to add an extra point in the middle of this line here. And you can tell I'm going to add, like, instead of just drawing a point, because you see the little plus symbol up here, that means I'm going to add it to the path. We're going to put it right there. I'm going to highlight this with the A tool, or the Direct Select tool, and we're going to turn it into a Convert Selected Anchor Points to Smooth, which is what we want. And now if you notice, real subtly, there's two little handles that popped up, and that means we can take this and click it down a little. Now we can grab those anchor points, holding Shift to make sure it stays flat. We can come a little wider. Where it's even there. That looks pretty darn good. Alright. So we're getting the edge of our crayon. We'll throw a label on a second. Throw a label on in a second. That should be pretty easy. So let's work on the top part of our crayon. Is it crayon? Crayon? What do you guys call it? I know isn't that one of those things, like, it depends where you're from? So I'm going to take this and put a point in the middle. Point right above this line. And we'll have it come down here. And for giggles, we'll have it come all the way under there. And the reason why I did that is so if I'll change the color so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to obviously shade this, but now if I put it behind, it fills in all that gap, and I could connect it together, and it would have to be connected if I wanted to do a stroke. So just, future-proofing this, I'm going to go ahead and finish closing off. I didn't do it. Finish closing off the shape. That's the sound of doing that. And now we've got a shape here, so now if we give it a stroke or want to do some fun stuff later, we can. So I've got my point in the middle. You guys know the routine. We're going to turn it into a rounded by selecting it. Take that, and we're going to try and match the curve on the bottom. What I'm trying to do here is eyeball, making sure that this distance, and this distance are about the same. That looks good to me. And now we can hold Shift and drag these points out. And that will give us, a nice round corner. Maybe this one's it's not perfectly straight up and down. And it's probably a little too tall too. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is a wax crayon, man. So cool. Let me turn that back to pink. Mr. Pink. Something like that. We'll do a dark pink so we can keep them separate. This is obviously a huge working space, so I'm going to highlight everything in shrink-a-dink down, because that's why you're using Illustrator, is that no matter how big or small, it's going to be great. It's just when you export it, the size does matter there. but you can export it and shrink it and make it cool later. So now we've got that. Let's come in here, start off this anchor point, and we could come to the middle, but we don't want to go a little off to the edge. And come here, come on over her, and we can come down her. Oh yeah, that's a crayon right there. Color in a picture of your granny. Put that on the fridge. I'm sorry, guys. Not actually that sorry. Okay, so now we've got that. What I did is I highlighted, Control-Shift left bracket, threw it all the way to the back. So now this is going to be on top of this. And I did that. I did that so I could give this a white stroke. And you can see here that we've got this line right here, and that's really what I wanted. Holding Alt, it'll adjust both sides. Gonna make that a little wider. So by giving it that stroke, you're not really seeing the white on the edges, but you're seeing this white line there, which is what I really wanted. We could come in and make that a little like a light pink, maybe. You know, who knows? Who knows? Obviously not me. I didn't click on it when I did that. So we wanna. No, I like it white. I think that was cooler. TARDIS has decided to grace us with his meows. Well, now that we've got this made, we're going to highlight the top. And it looks like it's a little crooked, so there you go. I was off maybe by 1 max. That's TARDIS deciding to crawl into a box because he's a cat. Let's go ahead and grab our ellipse tool, zoom on into the tip here, come from left to right. Oop, we don't want a perfect square. And just, it doesn't need to be right. I'm just trying to keep it in line with the left and the right side where they matched up. And just come straight down. Say right there. So now I can take that and just, looks like not gonna let me do it that way. Do that. Zoom in even more. That's as zoomed in as it's gonna let me get. So when you can't zoom in anymore, trick, highlight everything, make it bigger. We'll make it smaller later. I know I just made it smaller. And I'm just gonna go to View, and we're gonna go over here to Hide Artboard, right here. And now the artboard's gone, so now all of this is playground zone, and we don't have to worry about the box kind of getting in our way. So now when we come in, look how closer we can zoom. Gotta love Illustrator. So we can take that and just drag it over, and it's gonna auto click in there. We can take this color, maybe make it a lighter color, because the light's coming from the top. So just add a little white to it. Bam, now it's a flat surface. Bam. Even though super small detail, super cool, right? Super cool. Chappy cool, yeah. We can make this a little shorter. Cool. So now what we're gonna do is take our rounded rectangle tool, line it up with this and that side, and we'll come up with the bottom of this. Want that to match the color of our crayon. Control-Shift left bracket, we'll put it to the back. And crayon butt right there. Maybe bring it out there a little more. And doesn't look great. Well, that's because we're not done yet. We're just getting the width. Taking our ellipse tool here. We're gonna just try to mimic. Now, had I not merged these together, I could have made a duplicate of this, and that would have allowed me to do this a little easier. But I'm kind of just doing this on the fly, obviously, because this is how you don't realize what you want to do until you're already doing it. So we'll put that in the middle, holding Alt, bring them both in, bring it a little farther out. Bump it up. How's that look? get real in there and make sure it's real nice. Oh yeah. Perfection. You're gonna do the same thing as before. Bam! Merge them together. Click it, left shift, or control shift, left bracket, throw that puppy to the background. Now we've got our, our wrapping on it, if you will. If you don't want your wrapping to stick out, I mean, we could always bring it in a little, holding the Alt, adjust both sides at the same time. We do something a little more inline like that. Heck, we can even bring this side in. I actually thought I wanted it to be off the crayon a little. I kind of like it in line with the crayon. But that means this top part looks all funky-dunky. Hoo-ha! So let's fix that. We'll just take this corner point, move it out about there. Grab this handle and swing that puppy down. Holding shift, we're going to get directly down, and we're going to bring that right over that one. We'll make some adjustments on the way. And that's the thing about Illustrator, like I said earlier, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just sat down and looked at the board. So this is how I figure it out when I'm doing it. So the reason why I show you guys how to do the process this way is that the last thing I want you to do is go home, or wherever you're at right now, you probably are home, and think that like everyone's got it figured out and you don't. No. It's a mistake-making process. And if you think it's going to be perfect right off the bat, well, that's not true. Someone's lying to you. So we can bring that out though. Same thing here. That. Look at that. Bam. Ooh, there we go. I figured out how to turn those notifications off. Alright. So that's a pretty good crayon so far. Bring that over her. I don't know if I like this stroke or not. Yeah, we can leave it. We'll leave it. Alright, so now for the fun part. We need to put some words on here. Need to give it some stripes. We need to highlight and add some shadows to give it a little bit of dimension. Right now it's a pretty flat looking crayon. And then we need to make it some brothers, because yeah, you don't want to be the only one in the crayon box. That's weird. So let's start with the label, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty cool details. So let's take a sphere, or the ellipse tool, and I want to kind of match, again, pretty good, the curve. The reason why you want your curves to match is that's, if you're adjusting your curve too much, it's going to look like your shape isn't, perfect cylinder, because obviously if it's this wide up top, it's going to be that wide down low. So, bam, we got it. Alright, so we're going to take this over here. We're going to take the cutting tool, a different tool that we haven't used before. It's under this one. Scissor tool is what it's called. If you use Control, it'll bring up the last arrow button, last of the two arrows you use, so you can highlight something and then let go of Control, and it'll bring you back to the tool you were on. Super useful tip right here. I don't know if that made sense. I'm in the pen tool, and I'm drawing a shape. Oh no, I want to move my shape. Hold down Control, it will bring up the last arrow tool I use. I can adjust it and continue on with the last tool I had. Super useful tool. Very useful trick. The more you use Illustrator, the more you will realize that was, a golden goose egg right there for you guys to use. Anyway, so we're going to take the pen tool, or the cut tool, which is going to slice these 2 points in half. The reason why we did that is now I can delete the top, and we're left with this bottom part. And we can just match that up. Even if it goes outside, I'll show you what we're going to do. Don't freak out. I'm not crazy. Highlight that. Give it a black. We're going to increase the stroke. Alright, that looks good. Take that. We're going to want to make it a little wider. Holding down the Alt button to do both sides at the same time. So now you're like, man, my crayon's got this weird, it looks like a pilgrim. It's got one of those collars. Don't worry. We're gonna right click, copy. Actually, we're gonna right click X, or Control X, and we're gonna cut it. Click on this shape, and come over here, and it's gonna let us draw inside. Now, if we Control V, bam, we got some. Look how strapping this pencil or crayon looks like. Get it? Strapping. It's a strap. It's alright. If you didn't laugh now, you'll laugh in a second when you get it. We're going to bring that up near the top here, using the arrow keys. That's good. And now we're going to hold Alt-Shift, drag down. It's going to, Alt will duplicate, Shift will make it move directly down in a line. And that will give us 2 bands. And now we want to zoom out, make sure, oh, moving the whole thing. That ain't what I wanted. Alright, move this guy up. That way we can kind of see an overview. Kind of like that. Now we're going to highlight both using Shift to select both. Hold down Alt, drag it down. Now hold Shift. It'll line it back up and come down here. And bam, now you've got the top stroke, the bottom strokes. I want these to all look a little different. Like, I don't think the variation in color is enough. Does that make sense? Like the light pink and the dark pink, I think you need a little more, a little something more to tell you what's going on there. So we've got that. Grab this bad puppy, let's throw it on its side. So holding Shift, it'll put it directly up and down, directly over. Grab your ellipse tool. Bam. Actually, just going to mimic the inside. Actually, we don't want any color on the inside. What we want is a black stroke. Yeah, we'll make it a nice little thick stroke. Like that. And if you don't like how this looks, because like let's say your oval isn't good enough, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the oval a little wider on the ends. Kind of fill up more of the space, these corner spaces. And when I go to put in our secret text, which is, these are Oh Hello Crayons, that's right. That's what's up. That bad boy right in the middle. Oh, hello. Hello, darling. Hello, Moofy. Alright, now we got that. Let's pick a good font. What looks like a crayon to me? Doo-da, doo-da. I don't know, they all look funny. That wasn't bad. What was that? Poplar. That wasn't bad. I don't know what the difference between these two are, but we'll go with that one. Shrink it down a little. Alright, so now we've got that. We want to warp it just a bit. We're going to bulge and reduce the bulge. And what this is going to do is it's going to make it look like it's on the edge of a surface. Maybe bulge, it could be inflate. Inflate might be actually the one we want to... Don't want to do it that way. No, not that one either. No, it wasn't inflate. So we got to goof around with it. Squeeze. Vertical squeeze. Nope. Nope. It might have been inflate. Nope, it wasn't inflate. I lied. Yeah, it was bulge. Alright, so we're going to hit cancel. And we're going to do it all over again. So now we've got it here. We're going to go over to bulge. Want to give it a vertical bulge, which is going to bulge it out on the edges. But we don't want it too crazy. Just bring it in a little. And you don't have to do this, honestly, but if you were going to do a bigger, like more text and try and make it look more wrapped around, this will kind of help you out. And all it's doing is taking the center points and kind of pulling it left and right, so these L's aren't going to be perfectly up and down, and the Oh Hello, the O, these aren't going to be, because it's going to be from the center. So yeah, it's pretty good. So there we go, we got that. And we got our giant Oh Hello crayons. Bam! Now what we want to do is duplicate this bad boy. So I'm going to hold Alt, highlight, well first we should group it together, because we're done. So highlight, Control G, grouped it together, so now when I click on it I'm not moving individual parts, and I'm not going to lose something when I'm not paying attention, like that little nub. If I go to move if I highlight everything like this, I would totally forget there was that little nub up there and it would get lost. So grouping it together is super important. Click on it, Alt Shift, duplicate it right next to itself, and then Control D will redo the last thing you did. So it's reduplicating in even points. So now I've got this, you know, all these other crayons. So we're going to highlight this crayon, come over to swatches, click on this folder, it's got to be a folder, and you'll see this little pinwheel come up. Click on that gal, and what that will do is it will look for the different colors. Apparently we have 3 different colors. I don't know where the yellow's coming in from. I don't even see it. But it will look for the different colors, and if it's close enough, it'll try to match shades. So that's what it's doing here. And now we've got an orange crayon because it recolored. So right here it will randomly change the colors. And so what we want to do is actually make it so these two are the same, so they're shades together. I don't even know where this color is coming in from. Something might have a stroke on it, I guess. Oh, you know what this is? This is a tip. This is a little tip. Yeah, that's what that is. We'll put them all together. So what this is going to do is it's going to take the color and look at the different in the shades and make it so when we randomly adjust it, it's going to just be shades of the same color. So that took a minute to figure out how to put them together, so that's a good trick that I haven't showed you before. But now we've got all these different colors. So once we want a purple one, now we click OK. It's going to say, do you want to change the color, what you've done to the color group's bright, which is the name of that color group. No, you don't want to. What it's saying is you want to rearrange the order, and it really doesn't matter, so I don't normally do that. And we can do the same thing here. Bam, orange is done now. Come over here, do it again. Let's put these, oh, I didn't put them together. Maybe we should undo that, because see, now the tip is yellow. Although it's not horrible, we want to, not terrible, we want to make sure those are all stacked up on one another. Now when we go to orange, it's better. It's better because I say so. So do that again. Boop, boop. Ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo. Oh, now we got a green. Got a yeller. What color are we missing? Ah, I didn't do it. There we go. We got purple. Got yellow. Got green. Where's that blue? There we go. Roy G. Biv, right? Something like that. Yeah, red, orange, yellow, blue. Roy, oh, G's in there. Green, blue, violet. Yeah. So now we've got our crayons. And I think they look pretty good, and maybe I'll take the pen tool and, you know, make a path, color, or give it a stroke, take away the ink color. And so for the rest of the set, I'll just be playing around with different paths, and what I want to kind of do is we'll take paths and apply texture to them. So, for example, now we've got like a crayon stroke, and so I might spell some fun things out with crayon, like art day, or, you know, yeah, you'll find out when the sticker comes out, because I haven't thought that far ahead, because I just looked at the board 2 seconds ago. So there we go, I've done the crayons, and now what you need to do is export them individually. So you can use them in your sticker making or your design making, and they're pretty simple, so you can, you know, doctor this up or down as much as you want, but simple's always good. I like to keep things pretty, you know, in their basic form, because when you shrink these down, the more detail you add, you're really going to lose it. And I know I say that, and of course I got these little nubbins up at top that you'll never see in the printer, but for me, you know, yeah, you can't always be too perfect. So let's jump back over to my face. Alright guys, so that is how I designed the new crayon set that will be coming out at some point in the future. Thanks so much for watching. My last video, I showed you how to make that whiteboard I showed you at the beginning of the video. You can go check that out if you like. And yeah, like and subscribe because I told you to. And you should do what people on the internet tell you to do all the time. Trust me, I'm on the internet. See you guys later.